Okay. Alright, now we're doing Lion King Part 3, which is the eyes and the head part. And just to give you a reminder, this is what we're looking at. So we're looking at getting that part created. And you see it comes out and out shallowly. And the same thing with the bottom. So let's see if we can get that going. And let's put this back up on here again. Oops. There we go. Let's make a bigger mess than I need to be, right? And let's see, that's going there. So I can see what I'm doing. Alright, and I've already cut. I was playing around with some of these scraps that I had. And I noticed that if I did do that, it wasn't too bad to get that. And if I bent it a little bit more, and then I'll probably put something back here to help support it and get it going. So again, you gotta trust the masking tape. And away we go. And okay, so I'm going to go in, and first I'm going to bend this one and get this across the bottom here. Sorry. Pull it out of the way so you can see me. Sorry about that. It's a wee bit tricky to play with the document camera because really I gotta get used to it, and I obviously haven't gotten used to it as much as I should be, and such things like that. Let's see. And I'm trying to get this so it's, excuse me while I do this a bit. See if it works a little better on this side or that side. And it doesn't want to go on either side. Well, that ain't good. It's supposed to go on there. So we're just going to put it back on here and leave it alone then. Sorry about that. Alright, let's try it again. And see if I can get you in here better. There he goes. Alright, because I'm trying to work without me. This is where the document camera is. It's right here where you can't see it. So I'm trying to work with my hands going around things, and I don't want to do that because it makes it awkward and difficult. Alright, so this one comes up and down and around more like that, but it's got to be open more. So let's try that. And you can see I'm sliding this underneath here because this is part of the nose. Comes in and goes into part of the nose right there to become part of the nose. So if I'm doing that in there, alright, so now I got that going, and you can see it's not doing too badly up there. And I get to do something similar, and I'm not sure if I like where that one's cut. So I'm going to add another cut to it right there, and see about bending it. And I also went and bent this back and forth like that, so it's a little more manageable to work with. So, and I had these measured so they went in the same spot, but as you can see, I'm not sure if I like it. No, I should cut that way. Well, let's try it this way then. Oh, that's not bad. See, there we go. If at first it does not work, guess what? You get to do it again. So, yeah, basically all my plans go from point A to point B to point D to point F. And we just keep going until we get something that works. And so is this a hard and fast method? No. But what it is how to problem solve, and, well, there you go, that's not too shabby, huh? And how to figure this out, and this is how you figure things out. And believe it or not, this is where a lot of art is, number one. One of the best things in school because it teaches them to problem solve. We don't always give them the answers and stuff, and a lot of times what I tell them, just because it worked for me this way doesn't always mean it's going to work for you that way. So that means if it doesn't work for you, then you either figure it out and come up with some way for yourself to work it better, or we sit down and work on it together and figure out a better way for you to do it. So, and you don't get to do that in a lot of classes. You know, and they're doing STEM now, well, or STEAM or whatever, And basically, I have to laugh because basically what you do in art anyway. So, I find it a little bit funny that they have to give it all these fancy names and stuff instead of just going with, oh, it's an elective, by gosh. Maybe we should have taken art away from all the schools. And we'll leave it at that. Alright, so you can see my Lion King. Here's we got a nose, we got that. There's the upper eyelids right there. You can see they're slightly tilted and they're still sticking up a bit in the back because we're going to have that slant out to there a little bit better. And I need a bottom eyelid to slant in from here a wee bit. And it can be thinner. Ooh, this is not bad. I'm looking at scraps right now. And again, see, I'm just taking, I'm going like this so I can bend it. That had a little bit of junk on it. And. So if I'm doing that this way, so it comes out that way, let's see. This is when you have to have octopus hands. You know, 8 or 9 of them at once. And, oh, it's not focusing. Why is it not focusing? Because I'm jumping around way too much. Sorry, guys. Give me a second. And let me see. Oh, there it goes. Because I moved my center. There it is. Now it's green. Now, where's the focus? Alright, so I can do that. And the inside eyes are like right there. And I might as well just take and cut this one. Use the bottom part. So I'm going to just cut this really quickly. And if I look at it, you can see they're almost the same size. Almost the same shape because they're going 2 different spots like this. If we flip them, now you got them so they're going to work right. You see, and then this is your front part. And what I'm going to do back here is just bring that out a little easier. And see, you're used to putting the eyes like you're tilting them this way. And this guy's got them tilted out like this so they're wider open. And you can see the eye in the middle there better. So that's why I want to put another thing in the middle because otherwise it's just going to throw us off. And that's the other part of doing things like this is until you get done, it doesn't look right. So you have to do that part and compare it to just that part, and then as you work your way through, you're going to add more and more pieces until you can look at that final product and say, hey, that's done. So they have basically an eye shape, which is your football shape in the middle here. Sort of like in there. So that's why I wanted to sort of get a football shape-ish thing going. Because, alright, so now we got this going this way. And that's just not looking right. I'm thinking we're going to have to do it this way. And it works for me. So if it's working for me, guess what? It's mine. So I can make it work for me, and as long as it's working for me, I'm happy. See, one side looks like it's coming up and down, and the other side doesn't. I'm wondering if I can bend this a little bit. I wonder what will happen if I do this. And that's the other thing about art. And that's when your similarities and your steam and stuff get in there. You look at something and go, I wonder if. And then you try it. And if it didn't work out, guess what? You can either fix it or you can take it apart and redo it. So I'm looking at that. And I'm liking that better, because then if I do that and bend this around like that and put my eye in there, where was that eye? So say that eye is in here, right here. I wonder if I can do that with this stuff. I think I'd rather have it in here. So what I'm going to do is, again, here we go again. We're going to fold this and fold it to about the size and the thickness I want. In this case, I sort of want it thicker. Sort of like that's not bad. I want it there. Is that too high? I don't think it is. I think that's pretty good. So now I can go in and I can just trim it so it's got the eye shape. Now, if you want your eyes to be semi-symmetrical, and this is always a tricky thing because everybody always goes like nuts over the eyes. They're not even, they're not right, they're not this, they're not that. Whatever. So that means that before I tape that down, I'm going to do the same thing for the other side and check it and measure it and make sure they're about the same sizes, and then I can tape them both down. So when I do one side, I check it, make sure it's right, then I flip it over and I do the other side, just so they are pretty close to the same. Because he's saying, notice I say pretty close. You see, I didn't do them exactly. All right, I didn't have a freak out or breakdown when they weren't exact either. And the last thing is, if you go and look at people's faces, anybody's faces and stuff, I'm going to tell you right now, they are not going to be symmetrical. And that's just the way it is. Because one side, and that's why you sit there and you can work on like a portrait or something and try to get them exactly the same. And you can get them exactly the same and look at it and say, that doesn't look right though. And it doesn't look right because faces are not totally symmetrical. You're divided down there, and so there's slight bits of differences, okay? Not a lot, but a little bit. And these differences are going to show up when I do my art stuff, even though I measured them and I put one on top of the other and cut it out and checked it, and you know, so it's never going to be exactly. You can see these two are close. They're close to the same size, they're close to the same shape, they're not exact. And by the time I take them down, they're going to be slightly different too. So, but they're going to be very close, so you're not going to see those differences unless you're really staring at it, trying to find them. And if you're doing that, then you're looking at it too close and you're being very rude. But anyway, it just doesn't look right. If it was absolutely symmetrically perfect, it just will not look right. So that's why I don't worry about it being absolutely symmetrically totally perfect. So I'm going to get this in here. And the reason I decided to put these in is because the bottom eye placement was being problematic. You see that? Now I got something to put it on, around, or close to, and I can see where it's going to be. And you can see that makes a bit more sense now. And they go and they have this part here a little bit, yeah, it's sort of going like this and then up straight. You see, so now I can sit there and really play with that. And you got sort of a wider eye. And I'm going to pull this up for a second so we can look at it that way, and you can see, oh, by George, he looks like a lion. Lion's eyes. It's starting to look like lion eyes. That's cool. And by the time I put the sculpture stuff on top of it, you know, then I can really start tweaking it and playing with it and making sure things are absolutely as cool and as nice as you'd like them to be. So let me put that there for a second. Sorry. There we go. And so if I put this back down here that way, I don't like that. It makes it too flat. So I'm going to put it over here instead and do one side like that and then one side like this. Alrighty. So, where is it? This way. Sorry guys. It's reversed in this stuff. So it's a reverse image on the computer, so it's throwing me off a bit. So you can see, and it looks like it's smaller, but it actually comes out to here. So that's going to be nice. And I'm going to bend that down a little bit more. And now I can take this, and it sort of goes in like that, which is nice, and then comes in and then bends up like that. So, and it's the bends that it's going to give it more of that look than much of it does. So let me see that, if I can get this taped in correctly, at least the way I'd like it to be. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take that piece and put it right there. So it's coming down this way a little bit, and I can just bend that piece in there now like that. And it's going to stay. And then this is coming in. Do I go that way? I want more up and downish, more like this. So I'm going to bend it even more like that. And now it's starting to look right. That's pretty cool. I'm happy with that. And that's the bottom line is, are you happy with what you're doing? And is it doing what you want it to do? Because if it doesn't, And if it isn't, then is when you got the problem. So I got that spot right here, and I'm looking to see where he's at. That's pretty close. I think he needs to come in a little bit more for that bend. You see, and it tore off of there, which is fine, because I can shove that on there and it pushes it up a bit more. And I like that better. There you go. And you can see it's starting to look more like that. Cool. So, there you go there. And I'm going to do the other side. I'll let you watch me, and I'll probably fast forward it so you can, get that. But yeah, that's looking, I gotta say, that's looking pretty cool. And if you cannot admit that what you're doing is looking pretty cool, you're not an artist and you don't know how to judge your stuff, and then you're going to have problems. So you have to be able to tell when it's doing what you want as well as when it's not doing what you want. So when you got it, how else are you going to know that? It's like, yeah, that's what I want, and that's how it looks, and that's very cool, and that should be correct, and otherwise you're fighting over it, and you're going and going and going, and you never get it done. And sometimes knowing when you're done with something is as important or more important than working on it. It's called, in the art world, it's called overworking something. If you just keep going at it and at it and at it and at it and at it, and then every time you change something on it, you're distorting it, and you end up having to go back and fix everything again, and then, and it just is a bad cycle to get into. Well, it's not too shabby. I am. Got to say, I'm a little impressed with myself. And if you can see it, there you go. You can start seeing they look like lion eyes. Wow. Cool. And, yeah, I sculpt and stuff. My actual chosen medium is painting. So I'm an oil painter and a silk painter more than I am a sculptor person. On the other hand, you can tell I can do this too if I need to. And a lot of what it is understanding and knowing how different parts go together and different shapes go together and such things like that. So, and that's where we go with my elementary kids. That looks pretty good that way, because see, this is cut this way and that one wasn't, so that one bent better, but then this one looks visually, it looks like it does it anyway, so they look about the same anyway. I sort of like that one better, and this one I might have to do something else over there a bit, because it might not be long enough for this, but right now it is pretty darn good, I'm thinking. And this comes down to right about here. We got that crickish area, that bend that we want more, and sodas. Oh, that's Japanese for like that, sorry. I spent time in Japan, and some things just stay with me. Not that I ever spoke it well, some things stay with me. Cool, that's not bad. This needs to come out that way though. So let's see if I got a scrap piece I could do and bring it in there to match a little bit, more like that. And what I can do with this then is, ouch, there we go. Basically just tape it to this back area like that. Like this, like that, there you go. You see, I'm going to cut this part off. So you just cut it off. And there, and there, and there we go. So here we are with this piece. So I'm just going to go right in like that and like this. And now it's evener. I said it's not going to be perfect, but you do want it even. And see, this is coming up this way a little bit more. There you go. And. Dang. Pretty cool. So, let's take a look at this together with the other one. So we're going to turn this around. And I don't know if you're going to be able to see it so well with that. So we're going to see, I don't know, I'm hoping it's, no, maybe not. But, let's see this. Yeah, I got sort of it. So you can see with the nose coming, it's not as broad as his, but it should work out. And I could make it a little broader if I wanted to. This part here is coming along. Here's his eyes. And they might be to be down a little bit lower, which is an easy fix. But I hate to... Yeah, they need to be down a little bit lower, I'm thinking. So maybe about 1/4 of an inch down lower. Maybe a little bit more. But between 1/4, yeah, about 1/4 to 1/4 inch. So, and so you can see there, I'm thinking mine are starting up here instead. So now I can take them off and put them in the right spot. But not a hard fix, because you can probably take them all off. You can see I can take them almost all off together and slide it down a little bit more there and here and here. And yeah, you see that one's down further. So, and see, since they're all taped like this, they're sort of taped together. Oops, I knocked my camera again. Sorry. And they're sort of all taped together, and I can just sort of tape the whole thing back down here in general. And see, now this one's too close. Let me look at that. So it's going that way. Just a wee bit in between the two. There you go. That one got to be a little bit low. Same old there. So there and here. And if I fiddle around with this and they end up in almost the same spot as they did before, that's where they stay, because that's where they're looking right. So that's there, and this is going to be coming down and out. So that's pretty good. All right, I think this one needs to come down a little bit more like that. And yeah, and I'm going to take a look at this now. Are they even? This way. There we go. Not bad. I think that one's off a little bit. So this one is coming here, and that one's up a little too high, so it should be coming down to right about there maybe. And yeah. And it's just tricky because this is sticking out further than the other one did, so it is. So if I do that, it should take care of it. And now I require a little more tape to fix that. So I'm hoping this stuff is, you can hear me talking on this thing, because I didn't buy a mic for it. So I do have a mic somewhere, so I should find that before I do the next one. So here's this one, and here's this one up here. And I could, if I'm really see, I can sit there and manage to figure that out, and I can measure it. If I'm really going to be futzy, there you go. I could actually measure it from there, or wherever I wanted to measure it from. So, but right up here, I'm doing it this way. And I'm thinking this is just a wee bit high right there. So, and this one can come down a little bit more too. So now I got bigger angles and then a bend. Alright, so now I get to play with these pieces again. And see, I can even stick some in here and then cover it if I wanted to. Just to get it so I can fold it back there and there. So, oh gosh, it's half an hour, I'm sorry. But I am going to fast forward a bunch of this too, because guess what? You know, we're just watching. See, there we go there. And you're going to see that, and then a little bit down there. And then he's going to be set for to actually sculpt on. So let me get this finished up, and I'll show you the finished thing in a second.